Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. For one last time, let's go back to Middle Earth and have a badass adventure. The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. So The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies is the conclusion to the Hobbit trilogy directed by Peter Jackson. This is the last time that we are going to go back to Middle Earth and have a badass battle. Originally, The Hobbit was supposed to be put into 2 movies, not 3 movies. So the thing that I noticed about the first one is that it felt very stretched out and very long, and a lot of unnecessary things that were supposed to be in the first film. And after watching the Battle of the Five Armies, I look back on Desolation of Smaug, and I think about it. Honestly, the Desolation of Smaug and the Battle of the Five Armies could have been put into one movie, and it would have worked. I get it. From a business standpoint, they split into 3 movies so they can make a lot of money. But from a narrative standpoint, it would have made sense if you just put it into one movie so you could feel more cohesive and not feel like it's being stretched out. But nonetheless, The Hobbit, the Battle of Five Armies is simply badass. Now, a lot of people have complained about the first Hobbit. Oh, there was not enough action. It was so slow. It was so boring. I fell asleep. People would like the Desolation of Smaug because it had more action and the story flowed more better. I'm pretty sure someone's going to get battle fatigued by this movie because there's just so much action and so much going on. This film is definitely the most emotional one out of the 3 Hobbit movies, because the first 2 Hobbit movies, while they try to implement emotion, was just mostly build up to the characters and them going on their adventure and all that. This one had a lot of emotion and the character interactions were really good as well, and the acting is always great. Like, for example, Martin Freeman, he is awesome and kicks ass as Bilbo Baggins. As you see his character change through these 3 Hobbit films, and by the end of it, you're like, Bilbo Baggins is not the same Hobbit that he was when Gandalf first met him at his house. And Ian McKellen as Gandalf the Grey. As always, Ian McKellen's badass. The thing that I really liked about this film was that it was the most, even though this is the most overused word by me, but it was the most darkest one out of the 3 Hobbit films. It's essentially the Return of the King of the Hobbit movies. And the thing that I really wanted from this film is that I wish I got to see more Smaug. I loved how Benedict Cumberbatch portrayed Smaug. I wish he had more scenes in the movie, but oh well, he went off with a bang. And the battle scenes were really well done. They were just well shot and it was badass. But there comes my biggest complaint about the film, is that there's so much CGI that almost looks like you're watching a cutscene from a video game. Now, that's not to say the CGI is terrible, but it's just saying there's just like so much of it, you just become desensitized by it. You're like, I know it's fake and there's not that much emotion that you get out of the film. Wow, albeit Return of the King had a lot of CGI, and while the CGI does not hold up till this day, but in that there was a lot of practical effects in it. There was a lot of orcs wearing real costumes, and you were like, okay, I see that it's real, so I feel more emotion towards it. But I understand though, because Peter Jackson said there was a lot of people passing out in Return of the King where they had to wear the orc suits because it was just so hot. So I understand that, but it's like, to me, I wish there was more practical in it, but I understood. But overall, The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies is a satisfying and epic conclusion to the Hobbit trilogy, and one epic conclusion to the Middle Earth saga. This is the last time we're going to see Middle Earth. Even though Peter Jackson has said he's open to return in the future to Middle Earth. But I think for now, this is the final time we're going to see Middle Earth. And I gotta say, it was a damn good journey. So I'm going to give The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies an A-. It's a really good conclusion to a trilogy that was actually not that bad. So guys, that is my review for The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. What did you guys think of it? Is it a satisfying conclusion? And do you think it should have been combined with Desolation of Smaug as one movie? And also guys, I did this interview with my good friend Shadow Podcast. He interviewed me. He invited me to his podcast and we talked about how I got started on YouTube, what made me want to do YouTube, what I plan on doing on the future of YouTube. And it simply is a fun podcast. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'll put the link right here so you guys can click on it. It will be at the end of the video, and the link to the podcast would be right here in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and as always, have a nice day.